We're back with another edition of the Best of Humble and Fred on Friday. Goodies and all, I'm full of pong. Thank you so kindly for listening. We're brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Palma Pasta, Green Genie SEO, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Hamilton Film Studios, Strain Print, Rainmaker PR, and LFS Credit and Finance Solutions. This morning I have a fascinating comedian coming up. We have an interview featuring a man who's well-renowned in North America, and he's also popular with comedians as well. Andy Kindler is coming up, but first a Humble and Fred conversation. These are segments that were pulled from the archives, and so let's hear from last year. A horrible story featuring Amanda, something unpleasant in fact. Let's hear about the hallway dump.
Hi.
Do you want to take us from the beginning to the middle to the end of the story?
Well,
do you need a moment? Do you want to collect yourself?
Well, how long do I have? Because I never have enough time, really. Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
Let me preface it with the night before.
How long is this story going to take, you think? Is it 3 minutes?
I'm
Is it 20 minutes?
2 minutes, 30 seconds. All right. Do I have that? Okay. So last Friday, my husband and I, we haven't seen a lot of our friends lately, so we've been reaching out a little bit, and or they have, and had a nice barbecue with my friends Matt and Mel. Haven't seen them in a while. You've met Melissa; she's been here, and it was lovely. They were like, "Why don't you come over? We'll put some sausages on, that kind of thing." So I go.
They came to your home?
No, we went to theirs. They live.
Mel and
they're
who?
Mel and Matt.
Mel and Matt.
They're like they live on Ossington. I mean. She bought a house back when you could buy a house in Ossington. So.
Well, that's girlfriend Rachel's neighborhood.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. We should have invited you over. However, you'll be glad we didn't, and I'll tell you why. Because I went up to the kitchen to hang out with her and do whatever, make drinks, and Marco was out there barbecuing with Matt. Later that night, after all was said and done, we had a nice lingering dinner, and it was beautiful. We leave at midnight or whatever. Marco says to me, he's going to kill me. Marco says to me, "Babe, I made so much magic in their bathroom. I feel so bad." Now, that's code in our house for massive action, right? Okay.
I'm sorry. That's
Poopy.
the...
Sorry. Am I allowed to... I don't know.
Yeah, you're fine.
I don't know my limits anymore, guys. Poopy.
Well, obviously, there are no limits.
Caca, poo-poo.
So that's the euphemism from taking a giant dump?
Yeah.
Making magic?
Making magic, yeah.
But I love how the sentence, he prefaced it by going, "Babe. Babe.
I've got you, babe.
Hey, baby.
That's our relationship.
Let me tell you, I made so much magic in their bathroom.
Babe,
It's incredible.
I made so much magic. So I was like, he goes, "I don't know. Was it the sausages?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What were you eating? I mean, I'm fine." Cut to the next morning. I'm trying to think if we had something going on. Anyway, all I had was coffee that morning, and we were running around and doing a bunch of things. Oh, we had to go buy a fireplace. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
This is why stories take long.
Yeah, well,
we have to go buy a fireplace. Anyways, let me tell you about the fireplace.
Anyway, we were running around, and all I had was a latte or something. And anyway, I'm wearing a onesie. So as a female, see, this is not 2 minutes. This is like 4 minutes. I'm wearing a onesie. Now, onesies are great. They're super comfortable. They're fun. You feel great. But the thing about a onesie is when you go to the bathroom, it all has to come off because it's a onesie, right? So
I think they're so much fun. They should have their own emoji.
They should have their onesie.
Instead of a sad face, I could write "wearing a onesie."
Well, it'd be like
just a onesie,
a naked woman sitting taking a dump. Anyway, so I'm wearing a onesie and I have to pee, just pee, and
or so you think.
Sorry, only one of these headphones works. Whatever. Anyway, no, I did. I peed. I did a pee.
You did a number one.
I did a pee number one. And he went out to deal with something with our scooter was going on. So,
we could talk about that too.
If you want to talk about that? Because I will.
Fireplace
it's for sale.
and scooters.
Who wants a Vespa?
All
anyway.
right.
Okay, so he comes up the stairs. This is like Saturday at like noon. He comes up the stairs. He's like, babe, and he wants to tell me something. Well, I come out of the bathroom, and I've been sitting there reading a magazine. Whatever. I come out of the bathroom. I'm completely naked, but I have my onesie around my ankles. So he comes up the stairs and like kind of looks at me and starts laughing. And I'm like, what? I was peeing, and I'm in a onesie. And he was like, well, I gotta pee. I'm like, well, okay, fine. So he runs into the bathroom, closes the door, and pees while we're discussing what's going on with our scooter. At that moment, I hear a noise coming from my own ass, and I on the floor. And it wasn't just it was like a cat.
My favorite part of that sentence is I hear a noise coming from my own ass. You know, as you do.
As you do.
In your hallway, outside the bathroom.
A little foreshadowing.
And yeah, I think it was the blueberries, just so you know, because he had been sitting outside pre-barbecue eating a bunch of blueberries. And anyway, he had to make magic, and I didn't, but I ate blueberries at the end of the meal. I'm like, ooh, blueberries. These have been here the whole time. I'll have some. And it was just a liquid force of blueberries.
E. coli.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God.
It's disgusting.
And he was like, what just happened? And I was like, oh my God, babe, oh my God. He goes, what? I'm like, I just on the floor.
Babe.
And he's like, no, you didn't. I'm like,
oh, come on.
He thought I was joking. He thought for sure I'm like, I'm not kidding you. I just on the floor. He comes out of the bathroom and was like, they're sponsors.
Yeah, that's...
And he came out of the bathroom and was like, oh my God, it smells. And he ran. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Well, you wanted the story?
No, I love the story.
Okay, anyway.
It's the greatest story ever
Don't
told.
worry. For Chris Emanuel, who was definitely listening and like, wait a minute, I'm there every day. I bleached. So the bleach came out.
I have a series of questions, Your Honor.
Yes, sure, yes.
May I approach?
Please, talk to me.
So he's in the bathroom. The door is closed. You are on the outside, onesie at your ankles.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, a noise happened, and you were powerless to stop the...
Pretty much, yeah.
The avalanche.
And so then you're like, babe, which is awesome. Babe.
And I was laughing. I was horrified, but also laughing because I couldn't believe what had just happened.
And what kind of... I want to... sort of collateral damage, like where did it all go? Was there...
It was all in the hallway. So
on the floor?
On the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of spray. Like, it was pretty much on the floor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then he comes out of the bathroom, and there's this deposit from Babe.
He just ran. Like
ran over it? Ran around it?
Ran around
down
the stairs to deal with the bike.
Yeah.
Clean up.
And
clean it up.
And how? And did you need a? What do you get? What do you get? A mop? Do you get a?
I got a very old towel. Is that gross? Probably. I got a very old towel and some bleach and scrubbed it, and then had to rinse out the towel in the tub. I think I did. Situation.
You know, it's interesting because you guys have been together for 10 years.
11. Yeah.
11 years. GFR and I are coming up to like 9 months, right? I'm not even farting in front of her yet.
What? You guys don't fart in front of each other?
Not yet.
Oh, come on.
Well, I'm not.
Really?
Yeah.
When does that happen?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. We spend a lot. Well, no, and we have managed to manage our number 2 activity, around each other.
Here's the thing with Marco and I. We 9 months in, exactly at the point you're at, maybe 8 months in, we worked on a cruise ship together. Right. So we shared a tiny, tiny little room, the size pretty much of this table, maybe a little more, and had a tiny little bathroom. So there was we just had to go for it. And that's actually where the term making magic came from. Because he'd be like, guess what I'm doing? I'm making magic.
That's correct.
There are a lot of magicians on
I got no problem with it. I'm just saying, like, we're at that stage where, I'll give you an example. So on the weekend, we were in Boston. Wicked smart. How do you like them apples?
Wicked smart.
And, we had in the hotel that we stayed in, the first night we were in Boston, we were checking in and I had to go to the washroom, or as they say still in airplane, lavatories. Who has ever said lavatory outside of an airplane?
I'm changing over to restroom because it just crosses borders better.
So,
just so you know.
I had to go to the restroom / hotel lavatory. Mm-hmm. And I scoped out that there was as there often is, a public access washroom in the lobby. Mm-hmm. So when I woke up in the morning, I got ready before she did, and I said, I'll meet you downstairs, which is sort of code for I'm going to go down and make some business.
Right.
And I left her alone to do whatever she needed to do in the hotel washroom, which I thought was the gallant thing to do.
But you didn't say to her, take a dump now. Like you're not at that point.
Well, I mean, I think it's implied. I'm going downstairs, meaning, I've found a place to
do what
do
you
my
do.
duty, do some duty, and
But you're
then
going to come back up, and you're going to smell her duty, right?
No, I didn't have to come back up.
Oh,
I was ready to go. But that's where we're at. We're still in the manage the same thing on
situation.
We stayed in a little hotel in North Adams, just outside of 3 hours outside of Boston. Same thing, I let her alone in the room while I went down, to meet her for breakfast. But I also did some
very gentlemanly.
I did some magic in the hotel.
Made some magic.
Yes, I did.
Once you start saying,
can't stop saying
I
it
know.
now. Hashtag. I'm just gonna. That'll be my new emoji as well. Hashtag magic. All right, we got a lot of people lined up. Great story, Barker. Awesome. Another, that'll be, we'll add that to the dumpster fire and all sorts of stuff.
I do it for you.
Well, you're amazing.
I do it for you. He would be horrified to know that I told anybody about that story, but how could I not?
Marco, babe.
Content.
You are currently swimming in a sea of Humble and Fred Radio propaganda.
I like it! More laughs, fun, and frivolity coming up on the best of Humble and Fred. I'm Philip Pong, and thank you so much for listening to this Friday edition. First, a couple of very important announcements.
Fred, man, let's talk about LFS.
Yeah, if you're a business owner looking to upgrade equipment without tying up existing capital, then LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, your best choice. Doesn't matter what the equipment, they'll help you out. Yeah, better to use their money than yours, Go to creditfinance.ca, get all the information you need on how to finance equipment, something you need for your business to give you that next step up. And hey, LFS will waive the administration fee from now till the end of May when referencing Humble and Fred. Savings between $150 to $750 depending on the size of the deal. LFS Credit and Finance Solutions.
Yeah. If you're traveling around the planet, we have a solution.
Hey!
What do you suppose that was?
A Gig Sky hotspot, just $129.99. That's a $70 saving. Hey, summer's coming. Going to be a lot of traveling with family or friends. Get yourself a hotspot. No matter where you travel, you can get cheap. Yeah, cheap. Very reasonable data. And up to 32 people can hook on to your hotspot. It's a great way to travel and keep your data costs under control. Go to humbleandfredradio.com, click on the Gig Sky banner, or go to gigsky.com and find out how you can save big on a Gig Sky hotspot.
The Retirement Sherpa.
Yeah, Retirement Sherpa. Tim Niblett is a portfolio manager. Raymond James, a member of the Canadian Investors Protection Fund. Again, look at the calendar, everybody. April 30th is tax deadline day. It's approaching fast. You may do your taxes on your own, but every so often you want a professional look at it. This is what Tim has told us continuously. You could be costing yourself money. Does that sound right? Costing yourself money? You could be costing yourself money.
No cost
if not done professionally. So just keep that in mind as you get to your taxes together. You might want to have somebody have a look at it if it's beyond just the basic return. Okay? Tim will be in Wednesday, I guess.
Wednesday.
Right on. RetirementSherpa.ca.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
We're back with the best of Humble and Fred. I'm Philip Pong. Thank you so kindly for listening. And we're continuing the Humble and Fred conversation. We've got a very romantic segment. I'm pretty reluctant to describe it to you. So let's hear about love and relationships.
Speaking of Rachel, I told Phil earlier this morning.
Right.
Today is 6 months since the day I met Rachel.
Oh, an anniversary. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah! Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind.
Yeah. Hard to believe how fast time goes. 6 months ago, went on our very first date. And it's been fantastic ever since. Now Rachel's somebody in my life. Isn't that weird? I think that's weird. So weird. I mean, it's great. Not Rachel. I mean, not weird about her. Just weird that all of a sudden, I go from I've got all my time figured out.
Yeah.
She always mocks me because I said that to her one of our first few dates. I've got 100% of my time filled, so I don't have a lot of room in my life for a relationship. Oh yeah,
Nice. How romantic. Mm-hmm.
Why did it say it like that? Mm-hmm. But once in a while, she'll go, "Oh, you 100% of your time filled up." Anyway, she's been great. I love hanging around with her. She makes me smile. She's really funny. She's super smart. She's really smart.
It'll blow your mind how quickly 6 months turns into 6 years, Howard.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Time passages.
I wonder if you can get a ring on consignment. What?
I may have to trade in my Scar Pepler boat to.
She'll get a nice ring on consignment, Alex.
She'll know that.
And a great price.
All right. Let's put a ring through your ball sack.
That's on consignment.
Why don't you get one of those?
By the way, I put something on our Facebook page. This horrifically fat man. A kid nails him in the nutsack with a baseball bat. It's great. And he asks for it. Anyway, check it out. It's great viewing.
Okay, well, that's I will.
Yes.
I will. Just slightly off topic.
No, you brought up ballsack.
Yeah, you got hit in the skull. Yeah.
I was trying to get you off rings. No one's getting any rings. But yes, 6 months has gone by. We've had so many fun times. Went to Mexico together. I met her parents. I met her brother. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. She's super nice. And, it's weird. It's just sort of strange all of a sudden now. Not all of a sudden, 6 months goes by. Yeah. You were mentioning, Phil,
right,
that 18 months has gone by since you first laid eyes on Pearl.
Like in person for the first time. So that would be November the 26th, 2016. Yeah.
Amazing.
And it was our 6-month wedding anniversary without realizing we were married for 6 months. Like a couple of weeks later, I'm just like, wait, I've been talking about marriage to a friend, and I'm like, I got married 6 months ago. 6.5 months ago. Not realizing we had an anniversary.
Well, time goes by. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, you're
going to have kids. They'll be yelling at me, big heads and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, in your case, when it's the 29th of May in the year of our Lord, 2018. What would you, if you had to throw a ballpark, when would you expect in your life to have this woman who is your wife from Cambodia living with you in Toronto?
I would say late June to November of next year. Yes.
Of 2019.
Of 19, yeah.
Right. So the Trudeau deadline is 12 months. They want to make sure every case is solved in 12 months. And then we're also thinking about planning our wedding ceremony as well, because we want to make sure we have the legal yes from Canada first. So that would be like maybe around November. I want to take her home as my bride. Great? Yeah. For the wedding ceremony.
The wedding ceremony is here then?
Oh, no, we'll be in Cambodia. The Chinese customary ceremony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, is that where Fred and I are going to go and be dressed in traditional Chinese garb?
Yes, Howard, I need you to train a bit because you're going to be on your knees serving tea to my mother, most likely.
Is that a euphemism?
No, it's a thing.
If I have to do your mother as part of the ceremony, I will. That seems weird.
I'm not sure.
As part of a traditional ceremony, it's traditional for one of the two bosses to have sex with my mother.
You shall. Your teapot will make sure it'll land in her cup.
Well, Fred does something. And weird.
Part of the culture, too, if you're invited to the wedding, you have to contribute to his parents until they die. Like something. Like $100 a month or something.
Yeah.
He's continuously telling me about these cultural things within that community.
My parents have the best pension plan. It's like $100 is fine, Phil, because it's your obligation as the kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether you can afford it or not. Right?
Yeah. Well, $100.
Well, $100.
Yeah.
$100. Well, you have that with Danny and Mel. Don't they send you some money every month to help you in your waning years?
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Well, you never know because Papa's 68. Like, he can't wait. He can't wait for all this. Right?
No, Papa.
No, Papa.
Papa.
His old man's going to... His dad's going to, what? He's going to retire in Vietnam.
In November.
He's going to buy a house for like $58.50, apparently.
And Phil has to give him $100 for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
$100 a month.
Not bad. Another.
Fantastic.
Well, it really is.
Price of real estate over there.
I can just imagine the look on Spencer's face when I say, oh, by the way, in a couple years, I'm going to need you to start paying me. Yeah. I think I'm going to surprise Rachel today. Don't say that. Well, we're not really scheduled, her and I, to see each other again until like Friday.
Oh.
What are you making that face for?
No, I'm anticipation. I want to hear what's going to happen today. Young people in love, what they do. Go ahead.
Well, this is no one in this room but you and I will get this reference. I'm going to officer and a gentleman her today. Did you ever see the movie Officer and a Gentleman? Okay, there's a scene where Richard Gere goes to Deborah Winger's factory, and he sweeps her off her feet at the factory, and he takes her away.
Aww. Yeah.
But I'm going to show up. Shh, don't tell her. I think I'm going to, after our grown-up meeting today, Fred and I have a grown-up meeting today at 11. After that meeting, I'm going to surprise her at her place of business.
Isn't that something? That's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to officer and a gentleman her. I'm going to go to her place of business with some flowers. I'm going to make a big to-do.
But what if that embarrasses her?
Yeah. I don't know. What if it does? Why? What part of that would be embarrassing? Hey, there's a man here that says he loves you. He's got flowers. Ooh! How humiliating.
Well, that could be embarrassing. But no, that's a good embarrassment.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she'll be a bit embarrassed.
No, I'm relieved you mentioned Richard Gere. I'm thinking of gerbils and stuff.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go there and I'm going to say, hey, want to see something cool?
So pull a gerbil with flowers in his hand.
No.
Do you want to see something real cool? You thought the Tim Hortons thing was funny.
Yeah. Wait till you see this. Rachel, there's a man in the lobby. He's putting a gerbil up his ass. And he said you'll get the reference. No. Now I can see why that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
She's relatively new to this company, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what, Howard? There will be a lot of probably women there in long relationships thinking, oh, I'd love to relive those days.
Yeah, I wish my husband would show up and put a gerbil in his ass.
I treasure a gerbil together.
By the way, Phil, this is the theme from An Officer and a Gentleman.
No way.
Love Lift Me Up.
I can't even remember this movie, really.
Oh, yeah. He's a naval training. He's an officer. And she's in a small town where all the women hope to one day nab a Navy officer.
You said Deborah Winger. Right?
Deborah Winger when she was younger and very hot.
Yeah, age hasn't been kind to them.
And, well, look at us.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's been kind to me.
Or us. Look at us. Every picture looks like my face is melting. Yeah, as soon as I mentioned Richard Gere, I knew you'd be like, well, how are we going to get?
Because I'm base. I
was trying to get to the surprise before we did Gerbil in the Bum.
GerbilInTheBum.com.
Poor guy, eh? There's probably no basis to that whatsoever, and that's his thing.
That's right. On his obituary, the second line will be, and at one point in the 80s, everyone thought he had a gerbil living in his ass. Has died today. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to surprise her.
Jennifer warns
nobody say anything.
All right. And then what? And then take her to lunch, like?
I don't know. I haven't got that part figured out yet.
Where are you getting the flowers? Don't get them at Costco. They don't last.
Buddy.
What?
I'm going to get them. She lives in a hipster neighborhood. There'll be a place.
So like a street side thing.
Yeah, like one of those little marketplaces.
Yeah.
I love those places, actually. Mm-hmm. I like that city vibe. Anyway, it's been 6 months, and it's been great, and I never could have imagined, 6 months and a day ago that I was going to meet somebody that I really, really liked again. Mm-hmm. It's cool. I like it. I never thought yeah.
And how did you meet again?
I met her on Tinder.
It was, wow.
I met her on Tinder. I'd gone on a bunch of... In the fall, I'd been, going on a few dates, and I had a couple of, strange Tinder dates again,
right.
And I met her.
Mm-hmm. She's never wanted to be a cat or never freaked out on you, and
has she ever processed
for not wanting to come to a birthday party?
Oh, no. No, it all worked
good.
out. Mm-hmm. No.
This is Humble and Fred.
Lovers, another story. I got too much into that segment. I'm full of Pong, and we've got Andy Kindler coming up on the Best of Humble and Fred Friday.
A message from my heart. I am floating back to the place where I feel. So this is where you are. We are two bandits here to steal. We are climbing single-handed.
We're back with the Best of Humble and Fred. I'm full of Pong. Good morning, by the way. We are continuing the Humble and Fred fun HF30 trip. It is the 30th anniversary of Humble and Fred. And what do you give? Well, hold on. What do you give as a 30th anniversary present? According to Google, it's Pearl. Not my wife, right? I don't have to give my wife away. Anyways, we have the wonderful Andy Kindler, who is part of our 30-year archive on the Best of Humble and Fred.
We've had a lot of fine and nice people come through. One of the finest, funniest, and nicest, Andy Kindler.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering who that intro was for. Because I am a nasty, moody, curmudgeonly. I yelled at the person who drove me today. I just
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Andy
a sweet
Kindler
person.
I'm not a very observant Jew. In fact, I'm a Nazi.
That's about as least observant as.
So is it
yeah.
Russia? Is it something? Is it Happy New Year? Or something?
Oh, well, here's the thing. I'm an observant
What day
Jew.
is it?
Well, I'm an observant Jew in the sense that I can say, look at Mrs. Rosenberg over there. She is really annoying.
She's
well,
a super Jew.
She's a super. I'm not a practicing Jew because I've got it down.
You've gone
That's
slow.
right from my act, folks. Mm-hmm. Right from my act. I make Yiddish dogs howl. Rosh Hashanah is just simply Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. But my point is this the time? I've seen it a few times on Facebook, people wishing them well, wishing one another well. Is this Happy New Year time? Like today, tomorrow?
I think it's. I only know it's tomorrow because some Jewish friends of ours in Toronto have invited us over for some kind of thing.
Okay.
So it is tomorrow. But and of course, the joke everyone would do, they say it's 57, blah blah blah. But I'm still writing 57. So
blah,
my
blah,
joke
blah.
was it's 5763. But Mel Gibson is still writing "I hate the Jews" on his checks.
That's
I'm sorry
funny.
for you Mel Gibson fans out there.
Yeah.
He seems like
So
a
it goes
sweet
Rosh
guy.
Hashanah and then
Fan.
is Passover?
Yom,
coming?
no, it's Yom,
Yom
Kippur, which is
the Day
your
of Atonement.
Yes. And,
then-
and there's a fast.
Yes.
I don't do it.
I don't do it either.
But I've heard about it. I'm in sympathy with those who would fast.
You know, we're talking about the grieving process. Jews do it like a lot of cultures. I'm not sure what other ones do, but basically the idea is to feed your sadness.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
No, it's true. You basically
So now you're grieving.
you'll grieve
Now you're
you'll
hungry.
grieve some shiva.
Yeah.
Give me a double order of grief.
Well, also you have to bury the body within 3 days.
That's
That's
I know.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was within 24 hours, or is that some other
No,
wacko
it's,
religion?
That's a murder.
Yeah, only if you murder an old Jew. You got to get rid of them.
Yes.
in
Right.
24.
Right
Other than
out.
that, you've got 3 days.
Yeah.
I haven't never my I was raised Jewish, but we never we didn't go crazy with it. We had separate plates, but one of the set was China that we brought out on Thanksgiving. But no, I actually have experienced Shiva when a friend of mine died many years ago, and I thought that was actually a cool thing. Not cool, not fun, but it kind of works in a way because people come when they visit you, and they bring food.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. The idea is that you're in a state of whatever, and people come and bring you food, so you don't have to do that. No, I
That's
did
very
that
nice.
with you. That's why I gave you the butter tarts and the chocolate.
But that's pretty traditional across.
That's true.
most- yeah. Although at a Jewish wedding, or a wedding, a Jewish death like that, would it be a certain type of food, or would it just be the quartered sandwiches with no crust and
no,
salad?
we don't do that.
No, we,
go to a
Those
deli,
are Catholic Church lady
get you some
sandwiches.
nice.
We don't deal with mayonnaise at any time, but especially while grieving.
That's right.
No, it's deli. It's delightful. But you see, I wasn't raised kosher. Now, if you're kosher, you can't. You have to separate the dairy from the. You can't have dairy around the meat. And
My former in-laws, they did that, and I thought, man, that's got to be a lot of work because I was raised somewhat Jewish, but not kosher, and never separated milk and meat plates. And I think it's really a lot of work for a book that was written a long time before the internet.
Well, there's a rumor that some of the people who make plates came up with it.
That's
That
right.
makes sense.
You know,
The Jews will love this.
Damn you, Denby.
I was reading yesterday that almost 200 Subway sandwich shops in Britain, as of next week, are going to stop serving ham and bacon. Only halal meat. That's it. So the Muslim population in certain pockets of London, in and around there, is so strong now that it's good business for them to do that. And then I'm reading further exactly what halal is. And you talk about a lot of work and worrying about
What is it?
nothing.
It's just
the way they're slaughtered.
It's a way to keep. Is it their version of kosher?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah, but is it the exact same? No, it's just
No.
different.
It's the way
it's-
you bleed the animal that makes it kosher.
They slice their throats.
Well, that's basically how you get an animal to be kosher. The idea is you hang it upside down, you bleed it so that the blood doesn't congeal, which back in the day was
I'm hungry.
yeah.
I could really go.
for some upside down beef.
And I'm thinking because of some old ancient, it's like it's amazing. Like a big industry like that will change the way they do their business because of some religious sort of custom.
But as you
it's
say,
just
it's great
bizarre.
It's good business for them to do.
Oh,
it.
But
obviously.
also diet. I mean, back in the old days. I mean, I'm talking 30. I know no information from actual myself, but no. But I mean, like pigs were. You can get sick from pigs,
Sure.
and so I think that was.
You saw where that came from,
Yeah, that's where
right?
it came
No,
from.
no,
now
but
you can almost have it medium.
And I had this discussion with my former brother-in-law. I'd say, you know, you understand that a lot of the basics and the basis of something being kept kosher was so you wouldn't die from it. That's
Yes.
why you didn't eat animals that wallowed in slop or cloven-hoofed.
Yes,
critters.
I love cloven hoof.
Who doesn't?
I love it in a nice
Big
béarnaise.
Rives sandwich. But I'd say, you know, we've updated a lot of the pasteurization processes.
Yeah.
All of
Come
a
a
sudden I
long
sound like
way.
Woody
We
Allen
have
there for a
come-
second. Pasteurization.
I hate to be didactic. Obviously, I can't do impressions, but that's not the point. You know, Monet, before he would start a painting, he would yell out, "Who likes impressionism? You people like impressionism?" And if he didn't get the right reaction, he would paint more realistically. Again, from my
his
act, I sprinkle my radio interviews with my act.
Little bits of magic.
Do you have any recollection, because you do so much of this stuff? I mean, you were a big guest for us because, you know, we're big fans. And then I think a couple weeks later we had Greg Proops, and it was a really good period of
So
time.
you went downhill. Good night, everybody. I'm kidding.
We did.
I
But
joke.
By the way, tomorrow's John Doerr will
I
be
love
here.
John Doerr.
John will be here.
You can
That's
go
a
back
bigger
and hang out
guess.
with
So
John Doerr.
when I ask you this question, you can and be honest. You have no recollection of being here before or any.
Of course I do.
You really?
Yeah, because, well, first of all,
Because this is
are-
not your typical radio.
No, but I
interview.
think that you guys are in the same building that Sean Cullen is in.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can't mention
he used
that
to do
name?
something
No,
over
no,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So I remembered that, and I do remember that there was an inner office and an outer office. No, I remember it because, first of all, I'm following you guys. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm following you on Twitter.
Oh, okay,
He
cool.
knows what's going on.
I know what's going on, and I had heard about great things about you before I came on the show. So,
Well, some of them are true.
No,
by the way,
wonderful.
did you ever reach out to Maria Bamford there?
I did, but she's not available.
Okay.
what do you mean she's not available?
She's not.
She
she's not
retweeted
doing-
something we tweeted, and we said, "Hey," I said to Lena, I said, "Let's get her on here. She'd be
Yeah.
so funny." Do you find
Just
her
a call
funny?
radio
in?
interviews
Yeah,
right
just a
now.
phone her thing.
I love when people do that. I'm not doing radio interview. No, she's hilarious, and
Yeah,
she would be
yeah.
great in the radio.
Yeah.
Of course. What am I talking about? She's been on the radio. Yeah, there's nobody funnier than her.
Well,
Did you
Well,
know her?
I don't know why. When I say things, I'm guilty of hyperbole. In fact, I went to had the greatest event of my life last weekend. I went to a hyperbole convention. It was life changing.
Did you know her when she started up? Because that's a bold. I often think about comedians that I like yourself and her, where you're not just like she made a decision somewhere along the way that was the character she was going to be. How much is that what she's really like?
Well, actually, with Maria, I mean, I predate all of these people. I was around when Adam decided to do stand up.
Yeah.
When Isaiah, I said, "Don't stop it with the." Making fun of Jacob. I can't remember any biblical. But actually,
Some more biblical references.
Maria has actually evolved because when she first started, and I've seen a lot of, it's kind of exciting to see comics who are brilliant, but at early stages and then develop. She didn't have as much of a through line with her act because she was going to all these voices. Now I think that even though she's kind of talks like she would regularly talk, but she's still kind of very shy. It is her voice, but when you see her perform a longer set, there is a through line to it now. And that's how I think she's progressed. But yeah, she talks a little bit like that, but then she's also one of these people who has great ear for voices, and so when she's doing her parents or friends from school.
Yeah, I think I've played some of her for you, Freddie. She just has this sort of quiet, shy voice, and then all of a sudden she'll break into this character, and it's really funny. It's another guy like Anthony Jeselnik.
He's hilarious.
We play. There's a lot of Anthony on Raw Dog, and I hear a lot of Anthony Jeselnik. He's also very clever.
You can say something about
Say
blue
it.
collar. You can skip the blue collar.
Yeah,
no, you can listen. Look,
You can
I'm
listen.
not Larry the Cable Guy. If I had I wish I had a catchphrase.
Yeah.
He has get her done. I've tried. Same old, same old. It just
That was you?
That was me.
Oh, my
it
God.
just shows to go ya. If you can't finish it, at least get a hell of a start on it. Nothing.
How about saying Oliver Sholm after everything in your act?
Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
How about this, Andy Kindler?
Kindler's
Kindler.
here.
Would you,
Jew.
all this ISIS stuff
Yes.
and the beheadings and the
Yes.
threats to bring it to the streets of the United States, New York, wherever,
Right.
even Toronto, in Canada here. Would you go there? Would you make jokes about ISIS and the beheadings yet, or is it too soon, or is it the place you want to go, or you being Jewish? Would you actually ever be intimidated by those threats? Think that you're in the spotlight, you're sort of a famous guy, and what you said might be used against you.
Well, here's the thing. I don't. The most dangerous stuff I do in my act is make fun of, mock Louis C.K.'s fame, okay? Or I talk about Adam Carolla's kind of racist bent. So, but I'm hoping that they will not kill me. I would probably, well, first of all, I think it's hard to make a joke about beheading because it sounds so terrible to me.
Right.
That I probably, well, here's what I wouldn't do. I would not go into any of these countries, Syria. I mean, I like the kind of danger that doesn't involve death. So I probably would I wouldn't mind mocking people from here.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be, but actually, I'm more into what I've been talking about a lot, but not so funny about it, is that I'm kind of very angry at this angry atheist movement that is just, I think, doing nothing but causing more hate in the world, because their whole thing is, well, this like this guy Sam Harris, he goes, look at this page of the Quran, page 95. It's like, to me, it's like there are fundamentalists, and then there are people who believe in God, or they're spiritual, and most people I know who are spiritual, they're not believing in a book, or they're not saying that the earth is 3,000 years old. And I think to say, oh, you know what the problem is? It's not going to stop one terrorist by saying, you know what the problem is? Your core religion. All that's going to do is cause more people saying you can't build mosques near 9/11. That's only going to cause more prejudice.
No, and it's funny because we talk about religion on the show quite a bit, and even though we're not pro-religion, we're fine. I think I would speak for you. We're fine with people observing in a way that doesn't involve hurting other folks.
Exactly.
Or having other folks get angry and want to hurt them.
It's just, I was thinking about that the other day, those threats about, again, bringing it here and just randomly grabbing people on the street. I've just thought, there might be some profile people that might be a little intimidated by what they say in case.
Well, do you have any specific material like to try?
Yeah.
Do you have some?
No.
You got some good beheading bits?
Maybe I overthink.
I go after, I'm fine going after the Republicans. I'll stick with that, because I
That's
don't
pretty
think
safe.
they would behead me except for financially.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
There's more to the insightful, witty, and very funny Andy Kindler coming up on the best of Humble and Fred. I'm Philip Pong. First on Garfunkel Notes. Humble and Fred, we have a couple of very important announcements.
This program is brought to you by
Green Genie SEO. If you're a business owner with a website, listen up. Being on page 1 means a lot. You want to be number 1 in Google search, and SEO of Green Genie SEO can help you get there. All right, go to greengenieseo.com. Find out how you can move your business up. Get a free business evaluation and find out how to beat your competition. A page 1 ranking will increase your traffic dramatically. greengenieseo.com.
if you like hot food like pasta, meats? Do you like those, Phil?
Love them.
Pizzas and soups. Palma Pasta is open for business. You probably know them from picking up their amazing food and then taking it home. Already cooked. Just so delicious. But now you can go to Palma's Kitchen. Cold food as well, from salads to sandwiches, plus Italian fresh and frozen groceries. This business has been around for quite some time. It started off with just, Anthony, sister, mom, dad. Now 100 employees, 4 locations, and a real thing in Mississauga and Oakville. But you can, they're joining Skip the Dishes, so you can have them deliver the Palma Pasta right to your door. Check them out, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Palma Pasta, Phil. Palma Pasta.com. PalmaPasta.com. Palma Pasta.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
Andy Kindler, a regular guest on Late Show with David Letterman, a contributor to The Daily Show, and someone that I see most people who are comedy fans will seek out his annual address to the industry at the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival. And I saw your address this year. It was really, really funny.
Oh, cool. Were you in Montreal?
No, it's online. It was online instantly.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I did see you do it live once years ago when I was there. But my question about that, and maybe we can set up what it is. It's a room full of other comedians. There can't be a more nerve-wracking audience for someone that wants to elicit a laughter response than that. Are you still, after all these years of doing that, nervous?
Scared to death. I do this thing. It's almost like a Felix Unger when he would honk or something like that. I start to cough violently as if I'm going to throw up. I don't throw up, but I get that way. I mean, I'd say it's a little bit less every year, but no, I'd say I get just as worked up every year, because the thing is, I don't repeat any material from the previous year, and I do like 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and a lot of it I collect through the year, jokes about the business, but then there's some of it that is just new stuff, or I'm angry about something, so I never know how it's going to work. But once I start, I'm usually okay.
Okay, let's hear a little bit of Andy talking to a room full of comedians.
Meetings. Nobody will do business with me. No agency will meet with me. I have a manager. We've been together for 20 years. We live together. We are in love somehow. Nobody cares about. I don't even know. I can't even remember any of the initials of any of the major agencies. But I had a meeting at the 56K modem channel that went very, very well. My project at the Rabbit Ears Network got turned down because they said the picture was too crisp.
So it's got. I
just chuckled at my own material.
No, because it's funny. I watched all of it, but I was watching it this year. A couple of years ago, you were in an audience where I was addressing some radio people, and I was on a panel. I only had to do 6 minutes. I got up, and my little part was 6 minutes long. And I remember, because I've done stand up, and I remember thinking, looking around the room, there was you and everyone we'd ever worked for. And as these other guys were going ahead of me, I was thinking, I'm going to have to stand up, and there's some expectation that I'm going to be humorous. And I've never been more nervous in my life.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like a public. Well, I mean, obviously you're in a better position than 99.9% of people would be, because not like you're used to talking and you're used to doing all that kind of stuff, but it still is a weird environment. And so for me, it's this type of thing too, where sometimes I get very angry. It's weird. I've never been able to turn off the part of me that is wondering how well I'm doing. So it doesn't stop me from talking about subjects that people say I shouldn't talk about. Like, people get angry that I make fun of other comedians. That's like, comics can do Michael Jackson jokes forever, but then you make fun of another comedian, all of a sudden there's some unwritten rule. But certainly, even while I'm doing it, I may feel comfortable, and then even when I'm doing regular club sets, I always am over exaggerating how poorly I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what I expect people to do. I don't know if I expect them to double over or hold their sides or give me the timeout with their hands or
stop for a second.
Crying, but it's somehow never enough. So I always say, like, I'm a combination of sometimes fearless and fearful, because to me, stand up is a relationship where you're trying to make somebody laugh. you don't try to sell out to do that. I think a lot of people are very crowd pleasy. I'm a crowd pleaser, but more.
Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, am I right? Yeah. Well, when they ask you, my favorite is when they ask you, "Have you heard? Have you heard about the thing I'm going to talk about?" So I can gauge the reaction.
If anyone's ever heard
have
this
you seen
reference?
this thing? Yeah.
I can't remember if you were still away on this summer, but I was talking to another this woman that was producing our show because I had done stand up for a long time, and I said I once followed a guy who ended his act by putting on a black curly wig and lip syncing to Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? And as the crowd was raining down praise and chaos upon this, I said to myself, "There's nothing in my act that makes that noise." I have no funny little Jew on the prairie observations that's going to top that.
Well, it's so funny because I worked with this guy many, many years ago. And I hope he's okay, but his name was Rufus. And he'd say, "My name is Rufus," and backwards, that's Suffer. That was his first bit. But he closed the bit. I worked with him for 2 weeks on the road. By the end of the 2 weeks, I was smoking Pall Malls and drinking scotch. And he would do this bit where he'd go, "You ever go into a disco and someone turns into a butt head?" I swear to God, he put on a plastic butt head.
No.
And he would jump around. Well, the last night of the tour, the greatest thing happened. He jumped up and he banged his head on the ceiling, and blood started trickling down his far. I swear
String
to God,
of the butt.
the fact
on
that
his
bad
head.
comedy can hurt you made me. That saved the tour for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And by the way, the guy that I'm describing is still working Yuck Yucks. He's really a great guy, but I just remember looking at that going.
I think I know who it is, but we won't say it.
Have we had him on the show?
No, we haven't. No, but it was.
I'll write the name.
Well, did that affect your performance?
Well,
or did you deliver it the same way you would have, or do you just go out there sort of thinking, what's the use?
Yeah, he just wrote down the guy's name.
Why can't we say his name?
Because it's.
I don't know.
Because he's you know what it is? He was a very, very sweet guy.
He's probably one of the nicest people I'd ever
Yes.
done the circuit with, but I'd watched him. You know what? To be honest with you, I think I was emceeing those shows, and he was the closer.
Right.
And when he closed with that every night, I worked with him for a couple weeks. I was like, damn, you go back and you start thinking of, like, is there anything I could write that would make a somewhat, even a similar vibe in the room? It just doesn't. It's impossible to follow that. That's why guys that play guitars
Right.
in their act, whether the joke's funny or not, people are conditioned to, when the song's over, they go, yeah, that's a good song there about VD or whatever you just saying about.
Or I like when the impressionists do the impression and then they they go, "Jimmy Cagney, everybody," and that gets like applause.
No, I know.
But the other thing is, the reason why sometimes I don't want to mention the name is because I always try and keep my targets high of who I'm making fun of. So I'll make fun of Leno. It's like, to me,
Ricky Gervais. That kind of
Ricky
thing.
Gervais. Like I do in the thing in my act. I say, I can do my impression of Jay Leno if he was a comedian. Jay Leno. And I have to tell the crowd, the joke is now over, for those of you who are waiting for more of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So because it's Jay Leno, he should be mocked.
Do you
I'm
have
a
any...
humanitarian.
I know you make fun of Louis C.K., you make fun of Leno, you make fun of other people.
Yeah,
What about
something.
Letterman?
I love Letterman. Why would I make fun
There's
of him?
nothing
He's
to
the
make fun
man.
of. He is the man.
People say that to me all the time. You go after all this, why would I go... There are so few bridges. There's I have maybe a footbridge I haven't burned.
That you haven't.
Why would I go
destroyed.
after the people? To be like Letterman is the guy who, it was my dream to be in his show. I got on his show, and then he personally had me do field pieces. In fact, one time it was, do you know Bill Brownstein? He writes for the Montreal Gazette.
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yeah. No, it's
Brown.
I know who you mean.
Yeah.
Bill something Jewish sound.
Yeah, and I had a problem. I did like a double negative. Like the only person I can still watch is Letterman. And then he wrote down like Letterman's unwatchable or something like that. And so it was one of these things where he has I think a 400-year-old reel-to-reel tape recorder that he taped with. So I actually went on Letterman to explain how I'd messed this whole thing up, and he was very good about it.
Why is Corolla racist?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's funny. It's not funny you should say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's been replayed. I mean, this last year I went after Anthony Cumia of Open Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
My thing, who I think is actually, wears sheets. But in Adam Carolla's case, my whole thing was that he was doing a lot of material that was clearly racist, but under the guise of I'm a comedian, so it's okay. And to me, I feel like if you're funny, I don't care what you're saying.
Right.
It's like, one of my favorite comedians is Dave Attell. Like he will within 3 minutes. It only doesn't do racist stuff. But he'll break every rule that you could. That's why you can't make rules. You can't say what you shouldn't say things or talk about topics. But with Corolla's thing, it was just right. It was like Mexicans are swarming over the border. They want to, they have no culture over there, so they want our culture. Black people don't get picked up by taxi drivers. Maybe the taxi drivers know something. It's all this kind of stuff that is clearly there's no joke to it, zero joke to it. So that was my objection to him.
This is Humble and Fred.
Highlights from the week coming up on the Best of Humble and Fred. I'm Philip Hong. Yes, we were coming back from a long weekend, but there was lots and lots of interesting things that were happening. We're with the Best of Humble and Fred. Hashtag HF30. Wonderful, wonderful next hour.
People say she's crazy. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues.
The second hour of the Best of Humble and Fred is powered by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Green Genie SEO, Rainmaker PR, Strain Print, LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, Hamilton Film Studio, and Palma Pasta.
What you doing? Some research?
No. Yeah, you were talking about, I thought of you when I read the story.
What's that?
On the weekend.
What's that?
My wife watches The Voice, and she watches American Idol, and last night she's watching The Voice, so I tape American Idol for her. And then I'm thinking about American Idol, how I used to enjoy it years ago, and then I thought of a runner-up one year, Catherine McPhee. Very good-looking.
Oh, yes.
Brunette. Remember her well.
I think she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Stole My Heart, when she was on American Idol. Mm-hmm. And then over the years, I haven't heard a lot about her, really. She hasn't become a superstar like some of the other ones.
Right.
But Howard, I thought of you for a few minutes. Guess who her fiance is right now? I mean, that's a wide open question. Here's a hint. The reason you bring up Mark Jordan, he's a Canadian, so I'm thinking, So
Catherine McPhee from American Idol,
McPhee, right,
is dating somebody that would make you think of me.
Yeah, 34. She's 34. He's 68.
Oh, that's what I thought of.
Yes.
Okay.
That type of relationship.
That's a thing.
Nearly twice.
It's on the record. People know what I'm talking about.
It's on the permanent record. Yeah.
Anyway, but I'll stop that. David Foster. Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. No, but you weren't 68.
Well, no, but I was 48, 49.
He is double her age.
Literally.
Yeah. Well,
Nearly
I got
twice.
No, I know. You were more than double.
No, I was more than double.
Yeah.
I did the double.
It was a daily double.
I'm thinking, wildly talented David Foster. I mean, his accomplishments.
Legacy. Sure.
But what is she like? I don't know. Is he? I don't know. Can you still be good? I guess you can be good. I don't know what he is at 68.
Aren't his sons older than her?
Yeah, but look at you.
Know.
Like you're 62 years old.
Yes.
And you're in good shape. But imagine if you were in Hollywood good shape.
No, I know.
Like a 68-year-old guy that has access to all, the best fitness, the best nutrition, probably some goat embryo serum, squeezed into your eyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You can see a guy, Hollywood 68 would be like a normal 58.
Yeah, but Howie.
Hey.
She's 34 and very good looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's Hollywood 44 look like? Why does she have to go to the Hollywood 68? What's the Hollywood 54 look like? Mm-hmm. But he must be very charming.
Oh yes,
I know he's worth a lot of money.
No,
but she wouldn't be hurting either. But
hey, the heart knows what the heart wants, or something.
Whatever he wrote, David Foster wrote that.
Did he?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anything that
you
has
love
to do
David
with
Foster. You would date him.
Well, yeah, if he was 58.
Would. Well, but he's only a few years older than you, but you can imagine with all the access to.
But the nips,
technology,
the nips and the tucks and everything, he's still got saggy 68-year-old guy ass.
Mm-hmm. You don't know.
So when he drops his drawers, there she is looking at that debacle.
Producing
but
his
I guess
music.
she can overlook that.
Yeah?
Listen, you can never tell you don't know what's going on in her mind. Maybe she's got grandpa issues.
Yeah. Maybe he's St. Elmo's Fire underneath.
Maybe what?
Maybe he's St. Elmo's Fire underneath, if you remember that song.
Yeah, St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that got my interest yesterday, and now fiance.
Yeah. Yes, cool. Let's talk about Nicolas Cage. We were talking earlier about David Foster getting engaged to someone half his age. Who does that?
I'm in love with a man.
Well, I'm sorry, what were you?
Literally twice my age. You know,
How does that song go
Remember
again?
that reggae song? I'm in love with a man nearly twice my age.
I've tried to block that whole period of my life.
Sorry.
Trust me.
Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
I love that he knows that.
What, knows that song?
You know, you're here for 8 years.
Do you know that song?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, it was a cool tune. And I can't remember who sent it to us. What's going on with Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage was married for 4 days before filing an annulment claim, saying he was too drunk when he got married, I think in Las Vegas. His wife, what's her name? Anyway, she has countered with, well, no, you knew what you were doing. You weren't too drunk when we got married, and now she wants spousal support.
Of course.
Anyway, her name's Erica Kolke or something. But anyway, 4 days ago they get married, and then he immediately goes to a lawyer, more or less, and asks for an annulment based on the fact he was drunk. Now, I don't even know if that would that even be valid? You were too drunk? I mean, because who can monitor that, right?
I don't know.
So anyway, it's going to the courts now, and instead of her saying, geez, the guy doesn't want to be married to me, oh, okay, fine. It's an annul. She's going, no. I want spousal support. We were married.
But wouldn't your support be commensurate with the number of days you were married?
Here's a Mars bar.
You would think.
Here's a Mars bar and a bag of bugles. This is what you get. Judge, we are ready to hear your judgment. Yes, after considering the evidence, you get a Mars bar, a bag of bugles, and 7-Eleven Slurpee.
Well, Koike, that's her. Koike is her name.
Koike. Well, because he lives in Hawaii.
She is does he?
I think so.
Oh, okay. So she's agreed to a divorce, but does not agree that the impulsiveness of the decision qualifies for an annulment. As a result, she believes she's eligible for spousal support.
Sure.
She says because of this 4-day marriage, she lost career opportunities during the relationship, and this damaged her reputation.
Oh, yeah.
See, lawyers will do it.
Make America great again. This is what we're doing, Trumpsters. Yeah. We're trying to make America great again.
Get a load of this. Cage alleges that she didn't disclose her full criminal history to him prior to the marriage ceremony.
Yeah.
This is what you call a cluster F.
Isn't she really young, too? Like 24 or something like that?
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're all young.
No, but to have a huge criminal history and all these problems
I love the fact that we're talking about somebody who was married for 4 days who found a lawyer, who thinks they're eligible for spousal support.
Yeah, there's something there.
Marriage number 4, by the way.
I guarantee you, if his name wasn't Nicolas Cage, the whole thing, we wouldn't. She would have been like, "Yeah, okay, we're done now."
Well, he's a bit of a whack job anyway, eh?
$10 casino chip.
That being said, you younger people don't appreciate it. He has made some pretty good movies, Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's funny to hear other actors talk about Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
They love working with him.
Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, speaking of getting hammered, it's an entire movie where he's drinking himself to death. Not the funniest thing, but very, very good. Well, what are you going to do, man?
But anyway, he's got that to deal with. And, of course, it gives TMZ and all the entertainment shows that are on at 7 p.m. every night something to talk about.
But it sounds
I'm sure they will.
It sounds like a clip from The Simpsons. Someone got married in Las Vegas and claimed he was drunk.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of entertainment, here's an update for you people that were wondering, is Sean going to, after spending $150, is he going to go to the movie marathon, the Marvel movie marathon? And we found out this morning that he is bailing on it.
Yeah, I'm bailing pretty hard.
Bailing super hard.
I don't know. I don't want to sit by myself in a theater for more than 3 days.
But what made you think you were going to want to do that to the tune of $150?
If I could find someone to
join
go with
me.
But it's like Tuesday to Thursday. There's nobody.
Middle of the week.
Would have been great on a weekend, though. I think I'm going to go on Thursday, though. Just spend a day watching movies.
Yeah.
And
all right.
I get to see the new Avengers movie that's coming out the day it comes out. So
yeah, well, that is something. We tried, best friend Dave and I tried to book the theater on Thursday to go see the new Avengers. Can't get in.
What?
Yeah.
Sold out?
That's what you do with movies now?
Yeah, you book in advance.
Reservations, like
you can you can try and buy tickets in advance. And he and I were texting back and forth the other day, and he said, "You want to go see it?" I said, "Sure, that's our jam. Get high, go have fun." And he said, "No, we can't get in."
Oh,
you go there, you get all giggly.
Well, I got 2 tickets.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting through 52 hours.
Well, see if you can find out exactly when that's coming on.
Yeah, we could share. Oh, that's a good point.
That's the thing. They don't post the schedule for events like this.
No.
Because if they got to clean the theater, they got to clear everybody out and take time.
I'm just a little concerned about you, given your age. You see, when you're our age, there's lots of stuff you plan to do, and then on the day of, you go, "Oh, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but now I'm too old and grumpy to go. Why did I do this?" But you should still be giving that the gusto, brother.
Yeah.
No, but the best part of that is it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I know.
In the middle of the week. And he's like, yeah. Now, did you spend the $150?
Oh, it's gone. It's so gone. I know.
Did you think...
I know.
Can you put them on Kijiji?
No, I can't. It's all in my name. I've never done this before.
Did part of you think that we were going to reimburse you for this? No, I mean, let's be serious.
I'm a huge DC movie fan and comic fan. So this was my test with all my friends. I was going to go do this, see if I could do it, and no, I'm not doing it.
But I feel like part of you, did you think, I'll do this for the show, and Howard and Fred will shtup me the $150?
I wasn't aiming to steal your money, my friends.
Because, just so you know, the system here is when you have an idea like that, the proposal comes across our desk, and then we stamp it or not. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
this would not have been stamped.
No. Well, and if you had said to us, "Hey, I've got this idea for a bit. Do you think it's worth $150 for me to spend 3 days in a movie theater with a bunch of stinky nerds?" Because a bunch of nerdies, sci-fi nerds and Marvel nerds.
What would have happened?
Well, you would have said no.
I would have said no. You may have said yes.
I might have said yes.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
We have more highlights from the Best of Humble and Fred archive coming up. I'm Philip Hong. Thanks so much for joining us in our Humble and Fred Best of Brigade. First, we have a couple of very important announcements, and they're also wonderful.
FYImusicnews.ca, a journal about Canada's music industry. FYImusic.ca. Go there, and they have it all. They even have a job section there if you want to work in around the music industry. There's actually a job section. They have charts if you want to chart your favorite songs, see what's doing well in Canada. Again, all there. And features on artists as well. FYImusicnews.ca.
I'll tell you what else isn't going away. The Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan. It's Canada's ranked number one for employee benefits. We've been talking about this for some time. If you haven't figured out that this is the way to go for your small business, I mean, come on. Simple, stable, and smart. Don't add to someone else's profit. The Chamber Plan is a not-for-profit program. All surpluses stay in the plan. And what that does for you small business people is help lower your premiums. Give your employees more for less. Health and dental premiums are a deductible business expense and a tax-free benefit for your employees. Chamberplan.ca. Chamberplan.ca.
Chamberplan.ca.
Yeah, man. Fred, man, let's talk about LFS.
Yeah, if you're a business owner looking to upgrade equipment without tying up existing capital, then LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, your best choice. Doesn't matter what the equipment, they'll help you out. Yeah, better to use their money than yours, Go to creditfinance.ca. Get all the information you need on how to finance equipment, something you need for your business to give you that next step up. And hey, LFS will waive the administration fee from now till the end of May when referencing Humble and Fred. Savings between $150 to $750 depending on the size of the deal. LFS Credit and Finance Solutions.
Yeah.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
Well, here's a question from Twitch TV. If the Leafs win tonight, is Fred taking tomorrow off? Fred? I'll let you handle this.
If they win, no.
Yeah.
Maybe if they lose. Maybe if they lose. You know, there's certain things I have to take out of my life, and if the Leafs lose tonight, I think I'll take them out of my life. It's too much. Sunday was very painful for me. It just was. I get up in the morning. I was like you with the Tiger thing. I tried to keep myself occupied till game time, and I tried to keep a positive attitude and got everything set up in front of the TV as guys do, and put on my Leaf t-shirt. My grandson came over and my granddaughter, both wearing Leaf shirts.
Were they there prior to game time?
Yeah. Yeah, he and I played lacrosse out front. Killed an hour before game time with that. And then it starts great, and they take a 1-0 lead, and then when Marchand scored that cheesy goal, I thought, here we go. The life of a Leaf fan. I can feel it right there.
And then you stopped watching?
No. I stopped watching with about 5 minutes to go in the second period.
Oh, yeah?
Leafs had 12 shots. They were down 3-1. I thought it was time to have something to eat. The kids were there. I went back outside with the kids. Because I thought, if they lose, I don't want to see it. If they win, it'll be a great story. I can watch the next series. So I didn't find out they lost until you texted me.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's pretty interesting because I'm just looking at these texts I sent to Fred. Because because I watched it. It was weird because the PGA Tour event, whatever it was, the RBC thing where Dustin Johnson, the only reason it was remarkable is because Dustin Johnson, he was the number one player in the world. He's in the last group. And just to show you how weird golf is, he has his second worst final round of his career and loses. So that was the only thing that was remarkable about the golf tournament. So I was thinking, okay, it's not that big a deal. And all of a sudden, I find out the Leaf game is on in the afternoon. And I watched all the Leaf game. I fell asleep for about 15 minutes. And so I write to Fred. At one point, I go, your hockey team is so weird and also frustrating. Like, they're weird because they looked so good starting that game. And as we were saying before the show started, they had the one off the post. They had a couple of really good chances. They looked like the better team. The shots on goal were a little bit skewed because they were getting good chances, just missing the net. So that goal count, or the shots on goal count, was a little bit misleading.
Except for going 13 minutes without a shot on goal.
No, I know. But I'm saying at the beginning of the game, they didn't get a lot of shots on goal, but they definitely had a lot more chances.
Yes.
And it was frustrating for me. So I'm saying...
For you?
Yeah, because
you can imagine.
Because I've been following the team for 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm watching the game, so I write you a note. Then when it's over, I write you, sorry for your loss. I thought they played well enough to win. Plus, I said your goalie was outstanding.
Oh yeah, Freddie was good. Yeah.
Although I did read some stuff in the aftermath. People were crapping on him. I'm like, what do you want from the guy? Like, if it's not for him in the third period, if it wasn't for him, it's like a...
Well, look at that first goal by Marchand was a fluke.
Right.
The one that DeBrusk scored, the tip-in, no goalie's going to stop that. And here's another thing, too. There's always an issue with the Leafs. Their power play, other than one game, has been lousy, and their penalty kill against the Bruins in this series has been lousy.
Yeah.
Leafs get a power play, and they get the odd chance. Boston gets a power play. It's in the Leafs zone all the time being worked around.
And I think their first power play, didn't they score immediately? Or I could be wrong. So then
or maybe it was the second one.
So I send that note to Fred right when the game's over. Excuse me. And he says, this is how I found out. I shut it off with 5 minutes to play in the second, 12 shots at that point, and the kids came over. I'm like, did I just tell Fred the score? Yeah, you did. The score in the Leaf game? Anyway.
And like, even tonight, it's like... And let me preface this by saying, what a wonderful life one leads, right? When this is the biggest source of anguish in one's life.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It's just I've been a long-suffering fan, and I don't know if I want to sit through 3 hours tonight only to have that sinking feeling again.
Oh, I get it.
So I might just pass on the whole deal.
You don't want to mourn anymore.
And then if they win, then we'll look forward to the next series. But, Kevin Pillar's back in town tonight, San Francisco Giants. I could watch that. The Raptors, Game 5, they can wrap up their series with the Orlando Magic. There are other options.
In fact, aren't the Raptors... I heard something about... Are they going to set a record or... Something is of significance, the fact that they're going to get out of this series so quickly.
Well, yeah, they've never played a 5-game series and won. And they've never won 4 games in a row in the playoffs,
and,
which tonight would be.
And Leafs would win would advance to the second round, I think, for the first time in 14 years.
15. Against Columbus.
It's 15?
Yeah, it's
14 or 15.
2004, Howie. Yeah. 2004.
I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm only laughing because last week, because this Tiger won his first major in 11 years and his first Masters since 2005.
Right.
Yeah. I feel your pain.
No, I know.
It's gross.
And I tried the whole opposite George thing, and I'm sort of caught up in it. Because remember, I was predicting the Leafs are out in 4. I can't see them winning a game. Part of that was the old...
reverse psychology, yeah.
But here we are. It's the last 2 series against the Bruins, 7 games, Game 7 in Boston. We know what the results have been. Leafs have collapsed in the third period. I don't know if I want to live it again.
Well, I was going to say, I understand now because they keep losing to Boston in the first round of these playoffs. I understand that it would be frustrating for you. I don't know what's going on. Can I get some water?
Yeah.
But that
I understand it would be frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Because they're a frustrating team to watch.
Yes.
And again, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you from watching the game that it's frustrating because they just look like they should be winning all the time. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And that kid, what's his name?
Matthews. He's been good.
He's good. And you know what? Tavares had a great chance. Really good chance.
And Tavares has been more of a checking. His assignment has been checking this series.
And your buddy there on defense, Riley?
Yeah.
What's his name? Morgan
Riley.
He's a nice little player, too.
Here's why the Leafs are frustrating.
He's a nice player.
Heading into the season, the Leafs were supposed to have more firepower than anybody in the league. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, you don't want to take penalties against the Leafs because their power play is going to be so awesome. Because of their style of play over the season, the Leafs had less power play opportunities than any other team in the league, which I guess means they didn't get to work it as much. So here we are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mm-hmm. Whose power play is winning the series? Not the Leafs. Mm-mm. Not the Leafs.
Not the
Leafs. Supposed to be. Nope, not the Leafs. This older Boston team.
Yeah.
That's why it's frustrating.
Sure.
It's like, wait a minute, it wasn't supposed to be this way. It was supposed to be the other way.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I know. It's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
And Boston's got a good little squad. And I don't know how much longer Chara, is that his name? I don't know how much longer he's going to play.
He's been very vulnerable, and the Leafs have taken advantage of that somewhat.
Yeah, he's a big lumbering, big bird of a player. Kind of reminds me of, and I'm sorry for the old reference.
I know who you're going to say.
Who?
Lurch.
Larry Robinson.
Oh, no, I thought you meant from an old TV show.
No. I remember Lurch.
On the Addams Family?
Yeah, of course. Speaking of which.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, well, anyway, as a player, he reminds me of Larry Robinson.
I get it.
But I'm watching the 10 Commandments at Passover the other night. Ooh. It was on while we were getting ready for dinner, and I just saw a real quick moment of you're the only person who knows who Yvonne DiCarlo is. Yeah. She was the mom on the
Addams Family.
On the Munsters.
Oh, Munsters.
Right.
Where was Lurch on Munsters or Addams Family?
I don't remember.
But you know who I mean.
I do.
Yeah.
But so there's this shot at one point in this old movie, The 10 Commandments, awesome movie. And I realized, this beautiful, totally my type, brunette, Catherine McPhee looking young lady in this scene is Yvonne DiCarlo.
Wow.
From the Munsters.
Right.
It just goes to show you, everyone was young once, my friend. Everybody started off as a youngster. Just so you know.
Well, when you see those old movies like Katharine Hepburn, like in her 20s. No, I know. You realize how they became like so photogenic too, just the way they look on screen.
Mm-hmm. Well, there were several women in this movie that I realized later or you realize they went on to become these older people.
Oh, yes,
from
sure.
other things that I remember. Anyway, it's stupid.
Well, you know how stunning when she was young, even Lucille.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
Lucille
partial.
Ball. No, very, very
just
beautiful.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, one of the guys in my group yesterday were playing golf, which I do occasionally.
Once in a while,
One of the guys, I didn't realize this. I've known this guy for about 5 or 6 years, but one of the guys called him Mertz. And I realized all of a sudden he looks just like Fred Mertz from the show I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And now then once they called, I didn't realize that was his nickname. Because I don't really play a lot in that group.
That's funny.
But it was. He looks just like him. The Mertz.
That's funny.
This is Humble and Fred.
The best of Humble and Fred, brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Green Genie SEO, Rainmaker PR, Strain Print, LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, Hamilton Film Studio, and Palma Pasta. And now back to the best of Humble and Fred's second hour, brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Green Genie SEO, Rainmaker PR, Strain Print, LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, Hamilton Film Studio, and Palma Pasta.
I had a lovely Passover at my ex-mother-in-law's. It was beautiful. My youngest daughter has decided that we need to up our Jewish game, and so she led the Seder, and we did some songs. We did traditional Passover songs. She did some blessings, and
Really?
we had a whole thing.
What is a blessing? Give us an example.
Well, there's a blessing over the when you break the matzah. There's one over the wine. There's a few of them. And I just was like, I'll go along with this. If this is making everybody happy, why do I need to be negative? I didn't go negative. You know, even though I'm anti all religion, including my own. But if my youngest daughter, she made it very well known that she was going to lead this Passover Seder, and I said, sweetie, go to it.
What do they do when they take the foil off the chocolate egg? Is that a blessing as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Just before you stick it in the youngest tuchus.
What?
What are you talking
Yay,
about?
Cadbury.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
That's not.
Take the foil off the
foil,
chocolate
I know.
egg.
I know.
How did that end up someone's tuchus?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. Anyway. But, you know, I at first when she said, I want us to take this seriously, I was like, oh, come on, Spencer. But
why would you have any problem with that?
I'm telling you, at first in my mind, I was like, I don't want to sit here because it's a bit of an ordeal.
Come on, Spencer.
Come on.
Was there a lot of singing?
Come on,
Yeah,
Spenny.
yeah. But what you don't know about me, Phil,
Yeah.
is in Lou and Luba Glassman's home, well into my teenage years, we did a full Passover Seder. And I mean, like, there's depending on the family and depending on the level of observance, it can be up to a couple hours. Now,
that's too much.
Dude, I sat there through my entire childhood waiting to eat. So when Randy and I got together, I mean, her family was like mine, a little bit more sort of laissez-faire or whatever, and we would just do the basics of the service. And so even my kids grew up with that. But I don't buy into much of it. But when Spencer said, I want to do this, I said, sure. And she said, Daddy, because traditionally it's the head of the family or the whatever leads it. And she says, are you going to lead the Seder? And I said, no, honey, you can do it. And Randy and I sort of filled in some of the gaps, but it was fine. She led it, and there's a bunch of the little rituals and the little blessings, and you know what? It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was about a 20-minute thing.
Oh, that's all 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we did
better than 2 hours.
But I've been to the 2-hour one, and it's absurd.
It's like Passover Live at Budokan, right?
You have no idea. Like, you're just sitting there going through all these stories. But what we did was we all read a little bit of the story of Passover in English, and Randy did a couple of things in Hebrew, and then we sang a couple of the songs that we all remember from our childhoods, and it was great.
Does Randy know Hebrew without reading it?
Yeah.
Oh, she does?
Yeah. You know, there was a time when I was having this conversation with my girls. You know, there was a time when I went to Hebrew school. And I learned how to read Hebrew, and I did my bar mitzvah in Hebrew. But when I look at the words now, I don't recognize anything. But I recognize the songs, and I recognize some of the stuff said in Hebrew. I can't read it anymore. And there was a time when I could.
When you read it, do you just read it in your regular voice, or do you put on like a...
Yeah.
What?
Like a worshiping voice or something?
No, because
vocal?
I've said that before. I've heard it as the holiday.
Well, no, I like
sort of a singy-songy thing.
No, I mean, it would be like if you speak French. Some people say, you know, when you hear people go into their French voice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like that. You know, some people just say bonjour, comment ça va, and some people go bonjour, comment ça va. It's the same thing.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like a typical, like the blessing over the wine is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav. No, it's Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam parei peri hagafen. So those are the actual Hebrew
But how
words.
would you say that?
Just like that.
In the moment. No, in the moment.
Just like that.
No, you just threw it off there.
No, I would say it in my actual English-speaking voice. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam parei peri hagafen.
Somebody might go, Barei
Gahale.
Whatever you say.
Have a holly jolly Passover.
Challah.
What, you think I'm going to...
Like pull a Bernie Sanders.
Why not? You're authentic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How does Bernie Sanders not at every campaign stop just go, I'm Bernie Sanders. Are you kidding me with this jump? So anyway, all is this by way of saying I enjoyed my Passover. Did you have a nice Easter?
Yeah. I was at my in-laws in Kitchener. And, there was no real God talk. My father-in-law, he's big on that, but no. Sometimes I thought about that leaving. I thought, it was his place, his house. If he wanted to institute some of that, I would have been fine with it. I wouldn't have rolled my eyes or anything. I've been thinking rolling of eyes, but I would have out of respect. But didn't come up. Didn't come up.
Yeah, there was a lot of God talk at our table, but I just kind of let it go. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. Well, because a lot of the...
In what way?
Well, the story of the exodus of the Jews from Egypt is rife with God bringing plagues and the plagues being boomeranged back on.
Was that part of the ceremony, or was it just offhand conversation? Oh, by the way, the exodus was taking place.
No, that's part of the ceremony.
How about those locusts?
So that's what you meant.
Everyone is given a book, not the Bible, but a little mini Seder book, and it has all the story of the exodus of the Jews from Egypt.
Like a Coles Notes.
Meanwhile, this is true at my ex-mother-in-law's place in Thornhill. The Ten Commandments is playing on the TV. In Thornhill. And I was like, this is so weird because the Ten Commandments is on TV and we're literally doing the service, which is the Ten Commandments. That's what Passover is, people. How many times do I have to tell you that? It's what Passover is.
You could tell me every year and I'd forget.
Well,
sad, eh?
But that's what the story of Passover is. Moses sees a bush, it's burning, it speaks to him. It's like, hey, this bush is speaking to me.
How are ya?
How you doing? Here's some commandments. Anyway,
Moses sees a bush. Hey, what year is it? 1975?
What is this? Inside Sika?
40 years.
There's an old guy reference. See the bush on that bush?
It is burning.
That's a fire bush.
Too close to the stove.
Oh, hey, Moses.
Fire bush. Okay.
All right. Enough of that nonsense.
Die, new.
Jesus died for us.
Yeah, it was it's pretty holy. The Easter itself, that's the holiest day on the Christian calendar.
Yeah. Jesus peekaboo. Yeah.
Jesus peekaboo. Come on,
that's what it is, right? He disappears, he comes back.
I heard a debate yesterday on talk radio about Easter Monday. What's it all about? Like a lot of government shut down schools and what have you, but the LCBO was open, and it was just like, what is Easter Monday? What happened on the Monday, Howie?
No idea.
You don't know?
I truly did. Sean, you went to Catholic school. What does happen on Easter Monday? Hold on.
I don't know. I should know that one.
Isn't that a highlight in the news?
I have a great solution. Why don't we do away with the Easter Monday thing and bump it onto like Christmas or our Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do in the States, and have that time of year, a nice 4-day break.
4-banger.
Yeah. Because, May 24 is coming up in a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it just, to me, it should be a little balancing act.
Yeah, why couldn't it be Greater Friday before Victoria?
Yeah,
on
that
Monday?
would be like our Black Friday, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think that would be a winner.
Yeah, I don't really, I'm fairly sure I can articulate the idea of is it Palm Sunday?
I think it is, yes.
Easter Sunday, whatever.
Easter Sunday, I guess, yeah.
And then Monday, I don't know. I guess Jesus and the disciples just kind of said, "Hey, I guess we're cool."
Look at easy time.
He went up to heaven at that point, did he not?
Yeah, I was just looking it up.
Yeah, I think that's when he goes up to heaven. Is the Monday?
No.
So he hangs around for a while.
It was Saturday.
Returned, and
he comes back Sunday.
Didn't he just sort of like drift up? Didn't everybody watch him just sort of ascend into the clouds?
Yeah.
Was that part of it?
I hope it was. I think it was. What was it, Sean?
Yeah, it was the day he
That was freaky.
Came back, so they started spreading the word now that Jesus is back and the Lord has risen. So this was the first day of that.
You know what really blows my mind is I saw this and I'd heard this. I knew this years ago, but I was reminded again that Easter is not even a Catholic word. It came from something else. It was about some other gods that were being worshipped, Easter, whatever. But they took it. It was
wasn't it a star in the east, maybe?
No.
It was a pagan holiday.
It was a pagan holiday.
Oh, the pagans.
Like, that's the funny thing about Catholicism and any religion, but I'm just going to say Catholicism. They didn't celebrate Easter. They took it from somebody else that was celebrating something that sounded like Easter. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's why people get all up in arms about these things, but it wasn't even... Like, this is what's wrong with religion, is because it wasn't even their holiday. It was something they co-opted, much like Christmas, much like all the other religions that took things that were already going on. Like Easter itself they didn't celebrate Easter in the Catholic religion for a couple hundred years.
You are currently swimming in a sea of Humble and Fred Radio propaganda.
I like it!
We've got more from the best of Humble and Fred highlights featuring fun, frivolity, and certainly barrels of laughter on the best of Humble and Fred. First, I'm full of pong. We have a couple of very important announcements.
Hey, use cannabis better with the free Strain Print Companion app that'll help you learn how much more rewarding and beneficial your experience with cannabis can be. Get the app, through the regular places it's there, or go to strainprint.ca. It's something else. Learn from others' cannabis journey. That's what you do when you log on with Strain Print. People have been through some things. They have found out what strain works for them. It really is a great app. If you've got, some aches and pains or whatever your issue is, strainprint.ca, that's where to find them online, or get the Strain Print app through the regular places.
Rainmaker is Canada's leading cannabis communications agency. Rainmaker, R-A-M-K-R, providing narrative creation, media relations, brand strategy. This is the new way, kids. Advisory services to the most prominent brands in North America and overseas. Rainmaker has an expansive portfolio of clients, some of which have been on our program, including O'Cannabis, Vapium, Block Strain, Tinley Beverages, Origin House, and more. Make it rain at rainmaker.agency. That's RNMKR.agency. Make it rain at rainmaker.agency, or call them 416-410-0404.
You're listening to Humble and Fred Radio.
You're going to talk about streaming again?
No. Just that story in the news. They think by next year streaming will outpace satellite and cable connections in Canada. And what a breakthrough that is. What I don't really understand when I read through that story is, are you going to be able to stream live TV You know what I mean? Like
I do.
My kid, your kid, they're cable cutters.
Mm-hmm.
But if Danny wanted to watch the Leaf game tonight, I don't know how accessible that would be. You might find it by accident or not. You can't count on it.
You'll have to buy it probably.
Yeah. So the point is, when they say streaming will outpace satellite and cable, does it mean something like Bell Fibe and Rogers Ignite, which is streaming but TV? You know what I mean?
Right, it still
Live
comes
TV.
through a cable. Yeah.
I don't think they're talking about that.
No.
See, I want to think that people like Facebook and YouTube are going to be applying for those broadcasting rights now versus Rogers and Bell getting
and you know
those
what?
rights.
Here's the funny thing.
Yeah,
about
but Rogers and Bell are them.
Yeah?
No, I know. Yeah,
But what Facebook can do and what live streaming services are going to be able to do is to compete with broadcasters for rights, because Facebook can afford way more than they'll be able to outbid a CBC in the future.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to watch a British football match, you have to go on to DAZN.
And what I mean is, like, right now we CBC or Sportsnet or whoever produces that hockey. I was going to show you this thing. There will be a time when somebody is going to bid for those rights and outbid Rogers and Bell.
But Roger, I guess, I see what you mean.
Just with all the smart TVs out there right now, what is the reason of having your smart TV if you're not going to download or use these apps instead of get cable?
But I was telling Howard I have a satellite dish at the Tin Palace 300 feet up a hill, and it's a pain in the ass. So the thing is, if you this Rogers any place TV, which is a bit of a farce, and I think Bell has the same thing. Shaw Direct has this thing called Free Range. You can watch it on your phone no matter where you are.
Definitely.
Not in Mexico, by the way.
No.
However, it does not allow you to AirPlay to a bigger screen. They've built in a mechanism. So I'm thinking, that's pretty cool. You go to the AirPlay it up onto the big screen. I don't have to have a satellite. No, of course, it's not that simple in Canada. Can't let you do that. No, you can't do that. It might be too convenient. You might share it with somebody.
I guess you could bypass the system by buying a TV with Android built in or whatever it supports. Could just be
see, on my smart TV is a Samsung like my phone.
Right.
So I bet you on my phone, because I could smart TV it, could I not send it to
Try it. Well, it won't work for me.
What I was going to show you here, I've mentioned this, I think, over the last month or so. It's something called Golf TV, and I subscribe to it. I just wanted to see
really? Do you?
Yeah. Not the Golf Channel. Not the Golf Channel.
Right. What's that cost you?
I think it's like $9 a month. But what it is early round coverage of tournaments. Now, not all, and here's how they've restricted this. It's not the regular coverage. What they do is in the early, like, if a tournament coverage starts at 3 in the afternoon, at 11 they'll give you 3 or 4 featured groups on the golf course.
Great idea.
And you can watch this, and it's fully broadcast television coverage, camera work, and all that stuff.
Can you lift it up to a big screen? Have you tried that?
I have not. But I imagine, Phil,
if the technology's built in, maybe if it's an app.
Well, what I was going to say, I have this app on my. I use it on my computer, but I could certainly use it on my phone.
Sure.
But the point is, I think all sports are going to go this way.
I hope so.
Where, I mean, right now they do it right up to the broadcast time. But at some point, if it got big enough, couldn't they just outbid?
I guess
they might outbid a broadcaster.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm sure this exists for hockey. It has to.
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah, it does.
Well, there's NHL.
You can buy the NHL Center Ice package. Yes, you can buy it through
and watch it on your computer.
Watch it on your computer.
Yeah,
and AirPlay it to a big screen. They allow it because it makes sense. But that stat on streaming a year from now, I'm thinking. All that can serve to do is make the price of cable and satellite go down.
Yeah.
What else can they do? You can't raise the price. They're going to have to lower the price.
Well, that's why Sportsnet had Sportsnet Now and Bell has Alt TV.
They see it coming.
Yeah.
But you might see these streaming platforms going up in price, because that's what happened to Netflix. It's gone up $4 since it started.
But Netflix is still cheaper than my Bell package, which I only need 2 channels.
But if you're getting the sports package, the sports streaming service, and you're getting the Netflix, and you're getting all the different services here. It's
Yeah,
going
it
to
starts to add up. I know.
I saw an article they were talking about.
However, I would say if I got the NHL package and I got what's the one you just mentioned? The other one?
There's the
and Netflix,
yes.
and a couple of services, and then got to pick a couple of channels. You could probably still do that cheaper than a basic cable. Service.
Basic cable is double Netflix at the moment. It's like $30-something now.
And that's with basically no US, nothing extra services.
Yeah, that's... they just have a picture of a raccoon. It's just a steady video of a raccoon going through a garbage can with Gordon Lightfoot music playing in the background. That's what you get.
But
that's all you get with basic.
But the problem here is the carriers, too, now of streaming, like Bell and Rogers, are the biggest ones in the country.
Right.
So they got some control there. So I imagine they're in discussion and negotiation or whatever, to figure out ways to continue to screw the Canadian public.
They're going to munch us in the internet rates.
Yeah.
So if you're with Rogers or Bell, you're going to get, hosed.
Anyway. The nice thing about this golf thing is...
it's golf.
Well, it is golf. But I like the fact that they do it, and it's professional, and it's not just some guy with his phone, and you get a different look at the golf course. I like it because you get to see how the course is sort of playing before the leaders take to the... Sean's here. He's got a great story about the joy of sex category on Twitch TV.
Yes.
And then I also want to follow up with some San Francisco pooping. Poopy poop.
So...
plus, tomorrow we'll talk about the Ukrainian election where a comedian won the presidency in a landslide. Now, why not?
70%, yeah.
Why not?
There's hopes for us yet. We can move on up. We could be mayor. We could be prime minister here. We could do whatever we want.
Kenny Hotz is your governor general.
Okay.
No, I'd rather have Darren Frost.
Yeah.
You imagine Darren.
That'd be fun.
Darren Frost for prime minister. What's your story about the Twitch, the Joy of Sex channel?
Yes. So until this past weekend, there was a category on Twitch for a game called The Joy of Sex. It was a game that came out in 1993 on Philips CDIs. And so it was an adult game meant for educational purposes, I believe. I don't know. I didn't play the game. But, this game, there was a category on Twitch for this game, and streamers were using it to kind of test their stuff, play other games that didn't exist on Twitch. It was actually a pretty live platform for people and forum for people to get together and chat.
Like a sandbox.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was really, there was one guy, his name, don't have it in front of me here. Anyway, a major streamer on Twitch. He made his fame on that Joy of Sex page, so he was the one that found it out because he has millions of followers, and he was just flabbergasted. I gotta pull this actual message up that he said, but it was in his live stream. He was just losing it on Twitch because all of his old videos that he had on this Joy of Sex page disappeared because they got rid of Joy of Sex. It's too risque for Twitch.
So there's no porn on Twitch?
No. So that's one of their
rules.
rules.
Nudity at all?
Really?
Yeah, one of their
bad news. Bad news.
Nudity.
They allow, but they don't allow nudity.
You can find.
They allow you to say.
You can say it, but you can't show it.
No.
You can find some pretty, good-looking girls and the ASMR stuff that's out there. And
sure.
You can watch a girl eat dinner,
as
but
close as you can get to is sexy, risky.
Hey,
You could see a girl eat dinner. What
a
about,
girl gets paid to eat, just to eat in front of a camera.
What an odd name for a woman.
Here's
dinner.
some soup. Then you have desserts.
What Fred's saying is
my wife is my dessert. But yeah, so this guy's name was Chance Soda Poppin'.
And what's the moral of the story?
Moral of the story: there's no more
Joy of
avenues
sex
for sex on Twitch. They got rid of that.
Yeah, you know what though? I think you can find some sex stuff in other places on the internet. There's quite a bit of it.
Or you just watch some dancing girls on Twitch too. That exists. That's still there. I don't know if you guys have found that yet.
Girls.
You had a story
Dance Revolution. That was the game.
Sean had a story that more people than ever are pooping on the streets of San Francisco. And Charlie, my daughter, was there last spring for doing some work for one of the agencies she worked for. She was in California, and she said, I talked about liking the city of San Francisco. She said to me, the whole place smells like someone took a giant... And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, yeah. She goes, everywhere we were downtown, it just smells like someone just took a dump. And I'm like, that's too bad. That's not the kind of reputation you want your city to have.
That's a big subject on Fox News because it's a sanctuary city. Mm-hmm. And their spin is it's a lot of immigrants.
Immigrant poop?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
It's a sanctuary city, so, it attracts illegals.
A certain type.
And
vagrants.
And they're the ones dumping in the streets. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome to connect with Humble and Fred anytime. Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Humble and Fred Radio! Canada's national morning show.
This edition of the Best of Humble and Fred is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Green Genie SEO, Rainmaker PR, Strain Print, LFS Credit and Finance Solutions, Hamilton Film Studio, and Palma Pasta. There's more on the way and on humbleandfredradio.com.